Babashuaib, the correctional officer, born in Accra, Ghana, a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion, who does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube and TikTok since 2018. In Finland, and 13 years, QBE, in Classical Arabic and MSA in Quranic Arabic. The author of the Refer to the Quran, which helps every novice to understand the steps towards understanding the Great Quran and the guidance of God in it. Babashuaib, the correctional officer, born in Accra, Ghana, a Quranic researcher and a critical thinker based on religion, who does online lectures based on the guidance of the Quran on platforms such as Facebook, YouTube and TikTok since 2018. In Finland, and 13 years, QBE, in Classical Arabic and MSA in Quranic Arabic. The author of the Refer to the Quran, which helps every novice to understand the steps towards understanding the Great Quran and the guidance of God in it.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Peace be upon you all. Thank you all for coming. Just a second, let me share this on my WhatsApp group that I'm online. They can join. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. Abdullah Abbas, thank you. Yeah, peace be upon you all. I'm streaming live from Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok simultaneously. Right? Streaming at the same time. Let me see here, just a second. Yep. I just need to share this first. I start. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. This is another week. I was here last week. Instead of Wednesday, I actually did on Thursday. So due to some inconveniences. And thanks to God, I'm here today, Wednesday, as usual. I do my programs on Wednesday into Thursday. So I do it every Wednesday night, depending on where you are, but mostly European time, right? So let me give some shout outs before I start. Let me. So peace be upon you all. This is my way I invite to God by perception, I and whoever follows me, and glory be to God, Allah, for I am not among the idolaters, mushriks, pagans, you name it, I'm not among them, right? I submit to God alone, the creator of the heavens and the earth. He's not a man, he's not a woman, he has no gender, and he's not a human being, and he's not a circumcised, no. And he's not 3-in-1 Nescafe or shampoo. Neither is he a cow. Yeah. Okay. So let me give some shout outs. I start with those on Facebook, YouTube. Then I go to TikTok. We have Rashid, Sobriety. We have Tadzi XD. We have Tariq Ayub. We have Zainab, Sister Zainab, yes, Kaisar, I see you. Quran alone is truth, I see you. Abdul Abbas, Musa Arabago, Yes. Quran alone, yeah, I'll check my email. I'm usually busy with a lot of things, so when I get the chance, then I check. So sometimes people think when they send me messages, I can just check all of a sudden. No, it doesn't work that way. I'm dealing with a lot of people, a lot, right? So have patience with me. Whenever you send me a message, please have patience. I'll attend to you. I'm not running away from anybody, and neither am I scared of anybody but God. So if you send me a message, please just wait for your turn. It's like a queue. I respond to old messages before I come to the new messages, right? Unless if you are on my priority list, fine. Then sometimes I can just respond spontaneously, right? But I mean no disrespect to anybody. I'm a person who is for everybody, right? I'm for everybody. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much, sister. Yeah, sister Albert Joyce, thank you. Okay, so Turki Al Mutair says, hello, I have a. So can I tell you about a problem with the Quran website? For my knowledge, I know the Quran website I have I can tell you is like 95% complete, ready, and so even if there's something to fix, it's just a minor thing to be fixed. But however, if there's an issue, just inbox me, send me a message, contact me via my WhatsApp or something. I appreciate the feedback. John M says, how can I get a copy of the Quran to the Netherlands? You have to order it on holvi.com/natsal, right? Slash shop slash natsal. The link is below this page. You can see when you check below, you see the link. There are two links that can ship to the Netherlands, right? It ships all over the world. But for those in Africa, like I said, I'm working on getting it ready. So inshallah, let's look to this year. It should be ready to be distributed in Africa. But for those based in the Western world and other places, yeah, you can order from the website I put on the page there, right? So yeah, salam to you, Abu Sise. I see you. Salam, brother. Ganda Go. I see you. Brother Ismail Ohiare. I see you. Salam to you, brother. Sani Mohammed. Salis Jimmy. Naganka. I see you, bro. Salam. Sister Stussy, I see you. Peace be to you. Oscar Sanya. Omed Alaska. Amina. John M. Rishi Green, I see you. Peace be to you. I know other people will be joining, like Abdul Samad, Mawia, Baba Sedu, Sister Rashida, Sister Jamila. I know all of them will be joining later. So I appreciate the support. Nara Power, I see you, Hamdu Isaku, Shitu Olawe. It's a long list. If I have to go through all the list, I can use only the 2 hours of my lecture to go through the list. I see you, Faris Kin. Salam to you. So let's go to those on TikTok. Yeah, so thank you all for coming. We have almost about 50 people watching from TikTok. We have Sister Yuki, I see you. TCM, I see you. Alma, Sister Alma Johnson, I see you. In Sister Dawa, I see you. Salam to you. I see Adam Harris. Salam to you. Yilmaz Omer, I see you from Turkey. I see you. Peace to you. I see 7 layers. Ilmatic, thanks for the gift. Thank you. God bless. Right. Let me see. Sister, is it Aji Carol? I see you watching. Yeah, peace to you. We have salam to you. We have what? Manta Home and Decorations. Peace be to you. Quran is light. Yeah, brother NSC. I see you. Peace. Let me see. Yes. Salam. Peace. Yeah, salam, brother Abu Thomas. I see you. Abu Bakar Abdul Jalil. I see you all. Thank you. I appreciate the support. Thank you for being present. I appreciate your presence. It keeps me going. It motivates me to keep going. Thank you all for the support. Thank you, Stalma Johnson, for the gift. God bless. Anyways, let's move on to the main issue of today. However, I've proposed a topic that I wanted to do, and one sister brought my attention to a topic that I felt like I have to tackle that topic, right? Which is about the Hindus rebuilding a shrine, a temple where Muslims used to have their mosque. So I decided like this is an important topic I have to address. However, I've never touched on Hindu subject, even though I have a lot of people from India who follow my lectures, who watch me from India, right? I have some respected brothers from India who actually patronize uh, the message I put out there. So I decided, okay, let me take this. This is an important issue. There's a similarity in this issue with Israel Palestine. There's a similarity in this, right? So I'm going to tackle this topic. Correctional officer, if you are emotional, please stay away from my page because I'm going to touch your nerves. I'm serious. I'll touch your nerves. If you are emotional, my page is not for emotional people. I deal with reasoning and logic. If you're willing to compromise with logic, fine, you're welcome. But if you are emotional, I don't give a damn who you are. As long as I'm with God, that's sufficient for me. Yeah. Yes. So thank you all for coming. Peace be upon you all. Like I said, this is my way. I invite to God by perception. I and whoever follows me, and glory be to God, for I am not among the idolaters, polytheists, mushriks, pagans. I'm not among them, right? I only follow God. So, Tan Mirza, salam to you. So let's go. Starting for the topic for today, we are going to be discussing. We are going to be discussing what we call the Hindus against the Muslims. But when I say the Hindus against the Muslims, it is the general understanding that is the mainstream Muslims. Because as a matter of fact, I do have Muslim brothers, like I said, who also happen to follow the Quran for guidance. And people are mistaking such Muslims to be part of the mainstream Muslims, and there's a difference, right? I know in India there are people who are Sunnis, you name it. They could be Ahmadis and so on, right? Thank you, Arcad, for the gift. I know there could be Muslims like that, but when I use the word Muslim, it's a categorization whereby the pagans, the idolaters, the you call it any denomination who is against Islam always categorize Muslims in the same box, right? Regardless of you telling them you are not like other group. You get what I mean, right? So even though you are a Muslim who don't follow hadith, the pagans, they don't know the difference. They categorize you the same. So for those who watch my debate with David Wood doesn't know the difference. So he was categorizing me with, you understand, the mainstream Muslims. So that is why I differentiate by calling the mainstream mushriks. But when it comes to genocide, when it comes to oppression, it doesn't matter whether I'm not on the side of a mushrik. So far as it is humanity. Humanity comes first. It's not about, okay, I don't care if they are Sunni, so let them die. No, no. Put humanity first, right? Because in a family, in a relative, you can have a brother who is a Sunni and the other brother is a Christian and somebody is, you understand? You have to understand that humanity comes first before your faith, because faith is between you and God, not between you and people. Do you get my point? When we say faith, which some people will say religion, which some people will say doctrine, is between you and God. It's not between you and people. But humanity always comes first. That's why you are born in a family. You can be born in the house of an idol worshiper, just like Ibrahim alayhi salam. His father was an idol worshiper. Do you understand? Because God makes that decision, right? So you can't say just because, oh, this fight is against idol worshippers, so I don't care, let them kill them. No. Humanity comes first, for God's sake, because the idol worshipper can become a Muslim tomorrow. So what do you mean you don't care? No, you care. Humanity first. Do you get the logic here? So when I say Hindus are against Muslims, Hindus don't know the classifications and difference when it comes to who is a real Muslim and who is not. They don't know. Do you get my point? So to them, they categorize all of you the same. Yes. So just because you don't agree with a particular denomination of Muslims doesn't mean when they are being, oppressed, you will just overlook it and say, okay, I don't care, let them oppress them because they are not part of my party. No, come on. You get the logic here. I've had Christians who love what I do and they show me support, right? Even though they are Christians, but it doesn't mean they should hate me just because we don't have the same belief. Because it could be in some aspect of life, we will be on the same ship together. Do you understand? So why should I just hate you just because you worship Jesus? No, I don't care. This is your personal issue with God. But I have to tell you the truth, regardless. Correctional officer will not leave you scot-free. I have to tell you. If you look ugly, I have to tell you. If you look handsome, I have to tell you. Likewise, if you're beautiful or not beautiful, you should be told. You need to know the truth. But people hate the truth. So, okay. Hey, salam, Baba Sayyid Naganka. Salam, peace be to you, brother. Naganka, thank you very much. Abdul Samad. Stephen L. Salam, thank you for coming. No more shoutouts. No one, peace be upon you. Now we are focused to the lecture of today, right? So the question I was asked is, this question came to me yesterday, right? Because there was an inauguration of this of Hindu temple built on the destruction of that's Bambri. Is it Bambri Mosque? This Babri Mosque, question says a lot of Indian Muslims are hurt due to this. These Hindus are becoming extreme towards Muslims, and they support Israel. And I'll back up all these statements with a video and some pictures and some news links and references so that you can investigate for yourself. Quran chapter 49 verse 6. It's telling the believers that when an immoral person brings you an information or a news, you have to ascertain, investigate. You understand? Because you might strike people out of ignorance and become remorseful after that. So investigation is key. You investigate before you take a side or you talk about what you want to talk about, right? Because I think many a times people misunderstand why I don't regularly talk about this kind of issues. I don't talk about Israel, Palestine regularly. I don't talk about, there's a reason that I don't do it regularly, right? And there's a reason which says a word to a wise is enough, right? Understand? Because there is a particular position God might take me in life. When I reach that position and I have that kind of power from like Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, then you get to see that actions speak louder than words. Because sometimes your words doesn't make any impact. It doesn't move anybody. Do you get my point? So talking about it, it's just like you're wasting your energy, And I do have to talk about this today because I've never tackled this issue. But when it comes to Israel, Palestine, I've tackled it. I have multiple videos on that, right? But people don't know I've talked about Palestine, Israel. They thought I'm just quiet on this kind of issue. They are like, babashuaib, why don't you speak about Israel, Palestine? Why don't you? So, understand? To them, they think, oh, these guys, But sometimes you have to be quite careful the way you speak about these kind of issues. You understand that these platforms it belongs to the pagans, and you understand. So if they can silence you at any given time, so you have to find a different way and speak with wisdom. That's why we say a word to a wise is enough, because the wise person listening knows how to, decipher or dissect and take the important aspect of whatever you are saying. So keep note of that. Okay, so based on this question, let's see what Hinduism is in the first place. When we say Hinduism, we are talking about a body of religious and philosophical beliefs and cultural practices native to India and based on a caste system. It is characterized by a belief in reincarnation. They do believe in reincarnation, right? By a belief in a supreme being of many forms and natures, right? So to Hindus, they can believe even a baby, a child can become God, and they can believe even the cow is a dog. They can believe that the water is God, something is God. They can nature to them, nature can become God at any given time, right? By the view that opposing theories are aspects of one eternal truth, and by a desire for liberation from earthly evils, right? Okay, so mainly you find this religion in India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. Right? They share the same common views when it comes to this Hinduism aspect of religion. Now, coming to the notion of this temple we are talking about, this temple, I think the inauguration was done yesterday on Tuesday, right? So for people based in India, I know you are watching, so you can correct me if in case I slip up or I say something which is not in place. Now let's read something a bit about this, so you get the gist of what I'm discussing today. Thank you those on TikTok with a gift. I appreciate that. The temple, popularly known as Ram Mandir, you see many a times you see the Hindus speaking about saying Lord Ram, right? And when I say Ram, I'm not I'm not talking about Ram like I didn't know the Ram they are talking about. So we are going to find out. So Ram Mandir is being constructed on the land where a 16th century mosque stood until 1992, when Hindu far-right mobs demolished it, triggering a nationwide Hindu-Muslim riot that killed more than 2,000 people, most of them Muslims. Yeah, because of that mosque. It was demolished by the Hindus, right? The far-right mob. It was demolished by them, so they overtook that land, and then finally they now build their own temple there after gaining prominence and power. So now India, unfortunately, in India, Muslims are starting to become a minority, right? Whilst the Hindus are in a dominant position. But let's see something. If I take you to Quran chapter 22, I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to show you something from Quran chapter 22. There's a reason why God spoke about this issue, because it has been there even in existence, even before we came, this generation came in. It has happened to previous generations, right? So let me give you a gist from the Quran so that you get an idea of what I'm saying. God says in the Quran chapter 22 verse 40, he says, the ones who were evicted from their homes without right, only because they said, our Lord is Allah, God. And if not for God propelling the people against each other, monasteries, synagogues, oratories, and mosques, wherein the name of God is mentioned frequently, will have been demolished. And God will support whoever supports him. Indeed, God is powerful and almighty. Now, this part I'm reading is very interesting. But before you understand the context of chapter 22, verse 40, I'm reading verse 39 to show you a point, right? Verse 39, God says, permission has been given to those who are fighting because they were wronged. Permission has been given to you by God. Permission has been given to those who are fighting because they were wronged. Indeed, God is able to grant them victory. Who are those? The ones who were evicted from their homes without right, only because they said, our Lord is Allah, God. And if not for God propelling the people against each other, if not, God normally does that, monasteries, synagogues, oratories, and mosques wherein the name of God, Allah, is mentioned frequently would have been demolished. And God will support whoever supports him. This is the important aspect of this verse. And God will support whoever supports him. Indeed, God is powerful and almighty. Now, then somebody will say, then how come the mosque in India was demolished? Was God not supporting them? Was God against them? Remember, if you are doing idol worship, God is not on your side. You understand? According to God, one of the things that God has forbidden is to do idol worship. So Quran chapter 7 verse 33, right? Quran chapter 7 verse 33. It says, Kul innama harrama rabbi al-fawahisha ma zahara minha wa ma batana. Then it says, wal ithma wal bagya bigayr al-haq wa an tushriku billahi ma lam yunazzil bihi sultanan. Then he says, wa an taqulu ala Allahi ma la ta'lamun. So how come some of the mosques or churches or whatever is being destroyed? Why does God give permission for those to be destroyed? Because those people are rebellious. They are not doing what God asked to be done. So I'm going to show you an example. Let's go to Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17. And I'm going to show you one scenario before I speak about the issue. And then I tell you what needs to be done for the solution. So Quran chapter 17, if you have read from verse 1 to verse 2 to verse 3 to verse 4 to verse 5 to verse 6 to verse 7, I'm going to show you what happened to the children of Israel, Bani Israel, right? So God says, glory be to the one who made his servant travel at night from the sacred mosque, masjid, to the farthest masjid, around which we have blessed in order to show him some of our signs. Indeed, he, the God, is the hearer, the seer. Verse 2, for we gave Moses the book and made it a guidance for the children of Israel, that do not take a representative besides me. You remember what the children of Israel did, right? God told them, do not take a representative. The moment you take another representative, that it becomes you are an idol worshiper, regardless of if you have a mosque, regardless of if you have the book of God, regardless of if you call yourself a Muslim. If you take another representative besides God, you are in danger. The help of God is away from you. Now, the support of God is not there. Then you are on your own. And I'll give you the gist why such things happen like that. So, verse 3, the descendants of those we transported along with Noah, right? Understand? Along with Noah, indeed, he was a grateful servant. And we decree to the children of Israel, now listen carefully, why God does not support people if they don't support him. Indeed, we decree to the children of Israel in the book that you will corrupt on earth twice, and you will rise in enormous haughtiness, that is arrogance. So when the first promise of the two came, we sent servants of ours, those of strength and might, against you, the children of Israel. You know yourselves, right? Not the Israel next to Palestine, not that one, no. And they pried through the houses, and the promise was effective. Now, secondly, then we returned one time for you, the children of Israel, against them, the other servants of God. Now, is Quran chapter 22, verse 39 to 40. Is it making sense to you now? Because this verse I'm reading, God sends his servants against the children of Israel, even though they are also his servants, but they didn't take God as their representatives. Just like today, we can classify some mainstream Muslims, we say Muslims, but they are not actually Muslims. They could be idol worshippers. They are mushriks. Are you resonating with what I'm saying? Okay, I'll help you to understand this. So God says, then we return one time for you, the children of Israel, against them, the other servants of God. And we reinforced you, the children of Israel, with wealth and sons, because when you have sons, automatically you have soldiers. And that is why the developing countries, they exhort their youth to go into military and join the armed forces and so on. Or you have to do the military service. If you are based in the US, Europe, you understand, you have to go and do your service. And we made you greater in troops. Verse 7. If you do good, you do good for yourselves. And if you do bad, thus it is for it, your soul. And when the last promise came to pass to distress your faces, and that they entered the mosque, the masjid that God is talking about, the Father's masjid, they entered the masjid just as they entered it the first time to destroy what was elevated in destruction. Now, do you see what happened to the children of Israel? When God told them not to take any representative aside God, when they rebelled against God, what did God do? Regardless of them having a masjid, God again sent other servants against them to destroy their masjid down. Do you get the point? All the distractions happen in the world. It's not as if God is sleeping or God is blind. There's a reason why God does not intervene or doesn't interfere. But it doesn't mean you and I, when we see injustice, we should keep quiet. We can still speak about it. But sometimes when people tell me, let's pray for Palestine, let's pray for Ukraine, let's pray for, I'm like, what is your prayer going to do? What? You pray for them, what? You think God is sleeping? Let's pray for what? God is not sleeping. He's aware of all things. There's a reason why he doesn't interfere. It's just like you're watching a football match. Remember, there's a referee. It's not everything that a referee has to interfere. Some things the referee will just allow it to happen, just be happening. Do you understand? So you understand the logic I'm giving here when I'm coming to the end. You get to understand what I'm saying. So now, I use the children of Israel to set an example for you. Do you see the children of Israel? God sent other servants of his against them to destroy whatever they have in elevation, their mosque, their masjid, everything. Now let's go back to Hindus and the Muslims. What happened concerning that mosque, which was destroyed? Now, Hindus claim the Babri Masjid was built on the site of a temple during the first Mughal ruler, that is Babar, on land that was birthplace of their chief deity Ram. This is the claim of the Hindus. Do you understand? That is the claim of the Hindus. Salam. Yes, Dr. Aisha Musa, I see you. Salam. Peace be upon you. So that is a Salam Balogun. I see you. Thank you all for coming. That is the claim of the Hindus. So they are claiming that that masjid, which was built there, they are claiming that site is for them because it belongs to their what? Deity. But now let's see the main issue. So Muslims offered prayers until 1949 when idols were placed inside the mosque, allegedly by Hindu priests, just like it happened to Saudi, the Mecca, when they had the Kaaba, right? The issue when the mushriks took over, they were worshiping idols there. You go to Quran chapter 8 verse 34 to verse 35, you understand what I'm saying. When their prayer there was only singing and clapping. You understand? When the mushriks took over that masjid, that place, they were worshiping idols. So when the believers now took over, they started doing the right way of salat. So a similar scenario is the one happening in the history of the Indian mosque and the temple we're talking about now. So what happened is an Indian Supreme Court ruling in 2019 gave ownership of the land to a Hindu trust, right? So then it says, trust. Then it says the inauguration of the temple is being seen as a symbol of religious triumphalism, turning India's secular democracy into a Hindu first nation. Because now the Hindu, they are the predominant group in India, right? And I think the leaders, even the prime minister, and then whatever they have, their cabinet, they are mostly Hindus, right? So they are pushing the Muslims into minority, and that is why in 2021 there was this kind of genocide going on, and and they weren't speaking against it. They were in favor, just like how Israel today, they are dealing with the Palestine, and people are quiet and they don't want to speak about it. Now, and I'll tell you why these things happen. There's a reason. I'm going to show you something which might boggle your mind. It's a mind-boggling thing I'm going to show you, so that you get to know that God is aware of everything which is going on. But the question is, you'll be surprised. You'll be like, okay, why does God allow that to happen? There's a reason why he allows that to happen, and I'm going to show you the reason. I take you to Quran chapter 6 verse 65 to show you something. In Quran chapter 6 verse 65, this is what God says. He asked the messenger to say, he, God, is able to send punishment upon you from above you or from beneath your legs, or confuse you into sects and make you taste the terror of each other. Look how we have conducted the verses that they might comprehend. This verse is mind-boggling. There's a reason why God does this. Do you know why he does that? You read verse 66, you understand what he says. Verse 66 is telling the prophet, and your people have denied it, which is the truth, the Quran, while it is the truth. Say, I, Muhammad, am not your advocate. So the moment you decide to take a different representative other than God, the truth of God, and whatever God says, and you decide to do contrary to what God is saying, you are on your own. God is going to leave you. So whatever confusion, terror, fight you are going to face, you are on your own. You'll be surprised you are calling God, he does not answering you. You'll be like, oh, why has God abandoned us? We need help. Nobody's helping. But you remember when Lot, alayhi salam, when he sought for help, the help came from where he didn't expect. He was a good Muslim, a correct Muslim, a righteous Muslim. There's a difference. Anyways, now I'm just trying to put some sense into why certain issues are left the way it is, because people are not willing to take God in the right way, or to serve God in the right way, right? So the moment you abandon God, what do you want God to be with you? No, it doesn't work that way. Look, I tell you for a fact. When you go to Quran chapter 2 verse 152, God says, "Wa azkuruni azkurukum." He says, remember me and I will remember you. Then he says, "Wa ashkuruli wa la takfuruni." He says, and be thankful, be grateful to me, and do not be ungrateful, or do not disbelieve in him. Now, let's say God is telling you, remember me, I will remember you. So let's say you abandon God. What do you expect? If you abandon God, what do you expect? Do you get the point? He has abandoned you too. It's a vice versa thing. That's how it goes. So the moment God says, don't become an idol worshiper, and you are an idol worshiper, you are on your own, then you'll be surprised you're facing these calamities, calling for help, and you think God is not hearing what you're saying. You understand? But we as human beings, we will show our support. We will show our sympathy. We will try to do what we can do the best. Whenever the fight is bigger than your hands, it takes the intervention of God to help you out. He gave us the example of Lut alayhi salam. He gave us the example of Prophet Muhammad in chapter 8 and the believers when he showed him the vision or the dreams and how they fought and went and win the battle of Badr. Okay, let's go so that you get to understand. So remember me and I will remember you. This is what God says, right? Now let's go. Now, if you take this issue happening in India, what happened is that an Indian Supreme Court ruling in 2019 gave ownership of the land to a Hindu trust. The inauguration of the temple is being seen as a symbol of religious triumphalism, turning India's secular democracy into a Hindu-first nation. Further polarizing politics that will likely benefit the governing Bharatiya Janata Party, that is BJP, months ahead of general elections. That was 2019. Now, here. Now, it says what? I'm going to give you some timelines. You can read further on it to understand certain things about this issue, right? The court has already made a ruling and then given that site to the Hindus, right? To the Muslims, they will say this is an injustice because they have the site already before this is happening, right? Thanks, Adam Harris, for the gift. Thank you. Now let's see some timeline. In the year 1528, the mosque of Babri, that is, was constructed, built by Mughal Commander Mir Baki under the rule of the first Mughal king, Babur. So for those who know the history, you can look it up. In the year 1528, that was the year the mosque was built, right? By Mughal Commander Mir Baki under the rule of the first Mughal king, Babur. In 1853, first recorded instance of conflict, a Hindu sect claims that a temple was destroyed during Babur's reign to make way for the mosque. Now, do you see where the issue started? This is where the first fight, the history of the first fight started. In 1853, first recorded instance of conflict, a Hindu sect claims that a temple was destroyed during Babur's reign to make way for the mosque. Do you see? So it is people going back to history and using that history to commit that fights happening and the genocides happening. But let's go further. In 1859, the British erect a fence, because remember, the British also colonized India, right? The British colonized them. The British colonial administration partitions the site into two separate sections for Hindus and Muslims. This is what the British did. Muslims allowed to pray inside, while Hindus allowed to worship in the outer courtyard, just like happening to Israel and Palestine in the Masjid Aqsa. That Masjid al-Aqsa, they give it Masjid. It's not the same one mentioned in the Quran, chapter 17, verse 1. Not the same. This Masjid al-Aqsa you are seeing now was even built after Prophet Muhammad. It didn't exist at the time of Prophet Muhammad, right? So this is what the British did. They gave the sites to both the Muslims and the what? And the Hindus. So the Hindus were using the outside part of it, while the Muslims were using the mosque itself. So just as you see happening in Israel and Palestine issue, right? Concerning that the Aqsa mosque. Okay, so in December 23, 1949, the mosque becomes a disputed property between the Hindus and the Muslims. So the government declares the mosque a disputed property, just like we have Aqsa. I'm giving you the similarities. That's why the Hindus, far right, they are supporting Israel. And I'll come to that. The government declares the mosque a disputed property and locks its gates after idols of Ram deity are allegedly placed by Hindu priests inside the structure, according to the police report. No Muslim prayers offered at the mosque after that. Because the moment idol worship takes over a masjid, you can't go and pray again. In 1950 to 1961, civil suits filed. 4 civil suits are filed in the court, ranging from the right to perform Hindu rituals at the site to a Muslim group seeking declaration and possession of the site. So there has been confusion since coming of age, right? The confusion started of age since 1853, up and down, which has been recorded into history. So now coming forward, 1984, Hindu Temple Committee. A committee is formed by Hindu far right groups, including the Vishwa, that's Vishva Hindu Parishad, that is VHP, to spearhead the construction of a Hindu temple. Now, this committee was set up in the 1984. In 1990, BJP's Ram Temple campaign. BJP leader Lal Krishna Advani leads a nationwide campaign to build a temple in the place of the mosque. The nationwide campaign leaves a trail of violence in its wake, resulting in Advani's arrest in the eastern state of Bihar. Now, in 1992, December 6th, Hindu nationalist mob tears down the mosque. Tens of thousands of Hindu gather in Ayodhya. Then he says what? Pulling down the 16th century mosque. Hindu-Muslim riots break out across the country. Now, this is in 1992. So that is when the mosque was teared down, demolished, into destruction. Now, when that happened, you can see how the fight was building. It was building up. That's how it was going. It was building up, going to court, filing a lawsuit, going this, doing this. It keeps going. Then always there's a mob who will just decide to act contrary to whatever the law or whatever the government will say. In 2003, in December 16th, December 1992, Liberhan Commission, 10 days after the demolition of the mosque, the central government forms the Liberhan Commission to investigate the incident. In 2003, archaeological survey. Then it says archaeologists begin a court-directed survey to determine whether a Hindu temple existed at the site. The survey says there is evidence of a temple beneath the mosque. But many archaeologists and Muslims dispute the findings. So do you see? Even though the archaeologists found that there is evidence of a temple beneath the mosque, still some other archaeologists dispute with that fact that is not true. So it means the evidence was disputed. 2009, June. Liberhan Commission report. The commission submits its report 17 years after the demolition of the mosque. The report names several leaders of the BJP and its ideological mentor, Rashtriya is Swamya Sevag Sang, RSS, that's a short name, as responsible for the demolition of the mosque. He gave the injunction, right? Some senior BJP leaders, including Advani, faced trial. So they were taken to trial in the year 2009 concerning this. Now, September 2010, site to be shared. Now, this is what happened. 3 judges of the Allahabad High Court ruled that Hindus and Muslims should share the disputed site. It has to be shared, just like in the beginning when he was shared. Do you see? Because you are claiming you have a temple there. This one is also claiming there's a mosque there. So you have to share. What can you do? Okay. 3 judges of Allahabad High Court ruled that Hindus and Muslims should share the disputed site. The court says 2/3 of the 2.77 acre, that is 1.12 hectare site belongs to the Hindu groups. Then it says, which is the Nirmohi Akhar sect, Ram Lala Virajman, and the rest to the Muslim group, which belongs to the Sunni Central Waqf Board, right? So this so-called Muslim group, they are Sunnis. So the Sunni version of Islam is what was being practiced, right? In May 2011, ruling suspended. This ruling now has been suspended. The Supreme Court suspends the High Court ruling following appeals by Hindu and Muslim groups. In April 19, 2017, conspiracy charges. The Supreme Court revives conspiracy charges against top governing party leaders Advani, Murli, and then Manohar Joshi, and 13 others in the mosque demolition case. December 5th, 2017, Supreme Court hearing. The top court hears 13 appeals in the dispute. January 25, 2019, 5-judge bench to hear case. Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, sets up a 5-judge bench to hear the case overruling an earlier order by then CJI Deepak Misra to set up a 3-judge bench. The new bench comprises Chief Justice Gongoi and Justice S.A. Bobde, D.Y. Chandrachud, Ashok Bhushan, and S.A. Nazir. March 2019, mediation panel set up. The top court sets up a mediation panel headed by former Supreme Court Judge F.M. Ibrahim Khalifullah, which is what? To reach an out-of-court settlement. So they try to settle this issue out of court, right? To have these religious leaders to sit down and settle the matter. Then it goes. 2019, the mediation failed. That is August 2nd. August 6th, day-to-day hearing continued. 2019, October, hearing concluded, order reserved. 2019, November, Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court rules that the land must be handed over to a trust to oversee the construction of a Hindu temple subject to conditions. A separate piece of land in Ayodhya is awarded to Muslim groups. A separate, you understand? In February 2020, the 5th of February 2020, trust set up a 50-member Sri Ram Jan Mabomi Tirth Keshtra Trust is set up to oversee the construction and management of the temple. This is the court's ruling, right? In 2020 August, MP Prime Minister lays foundation stone, that is Modi. 2020 September 30, a court in Lucknow acquits senior BJP leaders, including Advani, a one-time mentor of Prime Minister Modi, in the case for lack of evidence. January 2024, that is 22nd, a few days ago. Temple consecration. Despite the construction of some wings still pending, the Ram temple is consecrated. A large ceremony featuring prominent figures, Hindu spiritual leaders, and Modi is held in Ayodhya. The ceremony involves a procession of idols and a statue of Ram being placed in the inner sanctum of the building. The temple will open to the public and devotees from Tuesday, that was yesterday, and is open as a matter of fact. But let me tell you this. Now, for those who don't know what Hinduism represents, now there's a reason why I'm reading this history, because a lot of people don't know how it goes. Whenever I'm talking about a fight between two groups, whether religious groups, I always quote chapter 49, verse 6. When somebody brings you a news, especially anybody who brings you especially an immoral person brings you a news, you have to investigate. Why am I saying immoral person? Because when we watch the media stations, the news stations, many of them are just doing to just incite fear, to just incite confusion among us. So you have to investigate what the news stations always bring you. Don't just go with the flow. Just because you saw a genocide, just because you saw this killing this group, then you just go with the flow and say, oh, they are killing this. Oh, no, we hate them. We curse them. No, investigate first before you take a side. I keep telling people this. Investigate before you take sides. Because according to the Quran, chapter 5, verse 8, if you are bearing witness, even if it's against yourself, your family, your relatives, you have to be just. So bear that in mind. Okay. Now, these Hindus we are talking about, the Hinduism religion I just told you about. A lot of people who practice Hinduism have been what? Indoctrinated. It's like a doctrine. In Hinduism belief, they worship, you will see a smart person who worship a cow. Right? You see a smart person who knows IT, who knows information technology, who knows about what software or whatever, but he's worshiping a cow. And he's drinking the pee of a cow. And he's using the cow dung, the poop, to bath, to wipe himself. And can even insert these things in his food. You think I'm making this up? I'm going to show you the video. After that, then I'm going to quote some verses in the Quran to show you that whatever idol worship people are doing now, it has been done before. It's not a new thing. So let me show you something. Yes. Yes, I know they have millions of gods. Yeah, I know, but the ones they give more attention to. So let me give the example here, so people can understand where I'm coming from and what I'm trying to say. This is just to bring the idea of what people don't know. So first of all, I'm going to show you the inauguration of this prime minister when he went to the temple. So I'm going to show you a listing on that, right?
करीब एक आंकड़ा है करीब 7,000
सदियों का अभूतपूर्व धैर्य, अनगिनत बलिदान, त्याग और तपस्या के बाद हमारे प्रभु राम आ गए हैं।
So that was the picture of the mosque which was demolished. For those on Facebook and YouTube, you can see it. And for those on TikTok, when you rewatch the replay on my page, you get to see this video, right? So that was the mosque which was demolished. Everything inside was demolished, taken down, and then they reconstructed by building their own temple. Okay, so now let's see the next video on that. You saw the prime minister in the temple when he went to this thing. But let me show you why the Hindus have similarity. They think they have similarities with what? With Israel. Now, this is the main reason here.
The same radical, jihadist, Islamist, terrorist thinking that Israel is a victim of, we are a victim of as well. It's just that we have had a very strong government. Israel is fighting this war on behalf of all of us. Israel is fighting this war for you and me.
और धार्मिक मान्यताओं के साथ हमें इजराइल में बसने की सुविधा दे, क्योंकि जिस बीमारी से वो लड़ रहे हैं, मानवता के जिस कैंसर से वो लड़ रहे हैं, हम पिछले 1400 सालों से उस कैंसर के पीड़ित हैं।
Actually also plays into the sense of Hindu victimhood and villainizing Muslims. So what they're trying to say is that, look, Israel and India, we have a common enemy, and that common enemy are the Muslims. They are the common cultural threat. So by way of extending the solidarity to Israel, it's basically saying that, we are together in fighting this fight against Muslims.
हमास के आतंकवादियों भारत छोड़ो भारत छोड़ो भारत छोड़ो हमास का
So I'd say that it is less pro-Israeli and more anti-Palestinian. It is more anti-Muslim. India has a disinformation problem. It also has an Islamophobia problem. When you mix the two up, this kind of becomes the perfect opportunity to show off your Islamophobia by way of extending support to Israel. But I think the larger fear is how this could potentially enable more anti-Muslim violence and almost give it a certain legitimacy, right? And another excuse. But there is this sense of affiliation, of closeness with Israel. And I really do worry how it could further anti-Muslim hate crimes in the country.
Okay. Now, credits to Al Jazeera. This video I just played was taken from Al Jazeera's page. Now, you see the views which the Hindus, far-right mob, you see what views they share with Israel. They are in support of Israel because their situations is similar. The situation they are having with the Muslims in India is similar with what the Arabs are having with Israel, the Jews. You understand? There's similarity there. So Israel is showing support, making it a religious fight. Hindus are showing support, making it a religious fight because they are fighting based on a temple and a mosque. And this other group also, they are fighting because of the land and the temple as well, the Aqsa Mosque and so on. You understand? And also the land. But now this group are actually in favor. Do you understand? Yes, and somebody is just commenting. This is what somebody says. Adam Harris says, this is actually ridiculous. Israel tells Indians they are idol worshippers and then don't recognize their support. Exactly. Israelis, as the modern day Israel, they see Indians, the Hindus, as idol worshippers. But let me tell you something. They have similarities, even though the modern day Israel is claiming, the Jews are claiming to worship God, but they actually idol worshippers as well because they give credence to Talmud over their Torah. You understand? Same like the modern day Muslims are doing, giving credence to the Hadith books over the Quran. What the Quran says is down, what the Hadith says to them is the top notch. That is idol worshipper. And that is why I call the mainstream Muslims mushriks. And they are. I can prove it. Now I'm going to show you something from the Quran. I take you to Quran chapter 8, verse 73. And this is very, very important. This is how real believers, real Muslims can stick together as allies. Because the disbelievers, they do it as well. You check Quran chapter 8, verse 73. In Quran chapter 8, verse 73, I have it on the screen. People on Facebook, on YouTube, you can see it. It says, and those who have disbelieved are allies of each other. Unless you, the believers, do such, there will be discord, that is chaos, on earth and big corruption. Listen to the advice God is giving. Quran chapter 8, verse 73. And those who had disbelieved are allies of each other. Do you see where Hindus have are pledging their allegiance to Israel? Do you see the issue? Just because it's against Muslims. I don't care whether it is against Sunni or because to them Hindus, to them Israelis, the Jews, they classify every Muslim in the same category. Whether you are a Sunni, whether you are a Shia, whether you are Ahmadi, whether you claim you follow the Quran, the moment you use the tag Muslim, they categorize you in the same category. So in that instance, they become allies. Do you get my point? That's why Hindus, they are carrying the flag of Israel and pledging their support. Why? Because they have one common enemy. Because you claim you are a Muslim. So God is giving you the believer's advice. He says, and those who have disbelieved are allies. They are what? Awliya, allies of each other. Unless you, the believers, you do such, you also become allies, there will be discord and chaos on earth and big corruption. What corruption do you see on the earth? Don't you see the corruption? Do you see the corruption or not? Let me help you out. Let me show you what corruption is happening. Can I find this video? Yeah. I forgot where I saved it. But anyways, let me put this here. Just a second. I put this here. Then I share the screen. Let's see. For those who have watched my video on the Israel-Palestine that I did concerning what we call the media wars, I spoke about issues pertaining to the war and how people should actually support each other. But whilst I was talking about that, I mentioned something to do with the Arabs. People didn't understand what I meant by the video when I said what I said. But let me share this so that we can explain. I can explain something here. Just a second. I put this and share. Yeah. Now, when we say fasad, in Arabic, we say fasad, which is corruption. When we say corruption, it's lack of integrity or honesty. Use of a position of trust for dishonest gain. It's all part of corruption. This fight you are seeing going on between Israel and Palestine is based on corruption. This fight you are seeing between the Hindus and the Muslims in India is based on corruption. Because when I read the history for you, they've been going in and out of the court and government taking sides, government making decisions in the favor of who they like. Do you understand? So if it is not your party in power, if it is not a person of just, who do you think he will rule the favor to? Do you understand me? Okay. So when we say corruption, lack of integrity or honesty, especially susceptibility to bribery, use of a position of trust for dishonest gain. Now, number 2, moral perversion, impairment of virtue and moral principles. Number 3, inducement by improper means, right, to violate duty. Okay. Now, the advice God is giving in Quran chapter 8, verse 73 is, and those who have disbelieved are allies of each other. Unless you believers do such, you do likewise the same, there will be discord, chaos on earth, and big corruption. And we can see it. Look at what is happening to Palestine. We all know Palestine cannot actually fight with Israel right now. But why are the world leaders quiet? Why is it that Saudi Arabia can actually organize a boxing match whilst the people are dying? Why is it that Qatar can actually organize a World Cup going on while people are dying? Like, seriously? Like, seriously? So when I made the video and I said, when Morocco was doing well, people were, hey, yes, Morocco. You were proud. You were saying the Arab League. You say Morocco belongs to the Arab League. And here you are, your brothers are being killed. You don't do anything. You don't say anything. Okay, let's leave Islam aside. Your brother is being killed. Your sister is being killed. What are you doing about it? You're quiet because of corruption. Do you get my point? It's because of corruption. Are you getting the point? So there is no real faith. There's no believers there because Quran chapter 2 verse 8 And among the people, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. God says, among the people are those who say we believe in God and the last day, but they are not believers. Because you don't do the works of faith, which determines you are a believer. The same mainstream Muslims from their hadith books, they say, Al-Muslim, Akhul Muslim. A Muslim is the brother of another Muslim. Okay, let's put tribalism aside. Let's put race aside. You, the Arab, claiming you are a Muslim, you are a neighbor to Palestine. They have died. What did you do? Because of corruption, you cannot interfere. Because of material gain, dishonesty, you cannot interfere. So this is what I mean by that. Do you get my point? This is what I mean about that. Now, just because we are fighting over something, thank you very much, Mr. Latif, for the gift. I appreciate that. God bless you. Just because we are fighting over an issue and there is oppression doesn't mean we should not stand against the oppressor. Because Quran chapter 7 verse 33, oppression is forbidden by God, especially without right, if you don't have the right to oppress somebody. Because sometimes you might be acting in the act, you might be acting in self-defense. According to Quran chapter 22 verse 39, God has given permission for those who are fighting because they were wronged. If somebody wrongs you, God gives you the permission to fight for yourself. Yes, stand up for your right. But however, what if your enemy is stronger than you? You will need a support. So how come Palestine is making video, calling all over for help? Why are people quiet? Why are people not helping out? Somebody will say, well, babashuaib, what are you doing? Well, there are people powerful than me. What do you expect babashuaib to do? The only thing I can do is to speak about it, like the way I'm doing. But even if I speak about it, what can my speaking do? Tell me. You tell me. We have powerful people who can take a pen and a paper and sign a signature and everything is ceased. Everything can stop with a signature. Are they doing it? No. Do you get my point? Are they doing it? No. You see, so it gets to a point, if we don't take the advices God is giving us seriously, this is where we are in limbo. You don't expect God to intervene when you are rebellious against God. You don't follow the instructions of God. You don't take God's word seriously. God supports those who support him. Do you support God? Then why are you an idol worshiper? Why do you go against God? Why do you follow your whims and desires when you are only supposed to submit to the will of God? Do you get my point? So this is why people will be crying, calling for help, help Palestine, or help the Indians and the Muslims in India. It is as if you'll be wondering, is God listening or not? Well, God is watching. He's never asleep. You forgot he's never asleep. But are you doing what he asked you to do? Okay. Now let's go to Quran chapter 9 verse 71. In Quran chapter, yes, exactly. Sister Yuki says everyone forgot about the Uyghurs in China. Look, even in Sudan, Darfur, there's a fight going on in Sudan, Northern Sudan and Southern Sudan fighting each other. There's a fight going on in Congo, going on. But they don't try to put it based on Islam and Christianity or something fight. No. Those fights going on, they are political gains. That's so that we can somehow understand, or Ukraine, Russia, we can understand somehow it's a political fight or political war, yeah. But the moment people start capitalizing on religious war, start categorizing a war as a religious fight, hello, don't dare keep quiet. I'm serious. Your leaders are busy organizing entertainments, football, music, parties, whilst their brothers are dying in Palestine. I don't understand. How does it make sense? Let it make sense to me. How? I'm serious. But this is the world we have, because there's big corruption. Those people you are classifying as Islamic countries are not real Muslims. Who told you they are following the words of God? in your dreams, right? You thought they are Muslims, right? They were never Muslims in the first place. Yes. Look, let me show you something interesting in the Quran. In Quran chapter 9, verse 97, this is what God says. He says, Al-Arabbu ashadu kufur wa nifaq wa ajdaru Allah ya'lamu hududa ma anzalallahu ala rasuli. Wallahu alimun hakim. He says the Arabs are worse in disbelief and hypocrisy and worthier not to know the limits of what God has revealed to his messenger. And God is omniscient and wise. Let me tell you the trick. Most of the mainstream Arabs they will do. They will twist the word Al-Arab and say Bedouins. Now, whenever you catch any scholar out there twisting this word Al-Arab as Bedouins, there's the difference between Bedouins. They classify the Arabs in Africa, Morocco, Libya, Egypt, Tunisia, and which one? Algeria. They are classified as Baduna, Bedouins. The Arabs in the Middle East, they classify these Arabs as Baduna fil Arab. Now, if somebody says this means Bedouins, that's a lie. I'll come back to this. Take them to Quran chapter 33, verse 20. If you take them to Quran chapter 33, verse 20, here God says, Ya sabun al-ahzab lam yazhabu. Then he says what? Wa in yatil ahzabu yuwaddu law annahum ba'aduna fil arab. When we say badun, that is a badi, Bedouin. So when God says ba'aduna fil arab, among the Arabs, we have the Bedouins. Now, the Bedouins are the ones classified in the northern part of Africa. The real Arabs in the Middle East, they classify these Arabs in Africa as Bedouins. Now, the word here, Ba'aduna, has been mentioned in the Quran. Fil Arab has been mentioned in the same verse. God knows the difference between Bedouins of the Arabs, and then he knows who are the Arabs. But when God is saying Al-Arabu ashadu kufr wa nifaq, it doesn't mean all Arabs are hypocrites or disbelievers. That's not what the verse means. God is just telling you, when it comes to hypocrisy and disbelief, the Arabs are number one. That's what he's telling you. Can you see it as an evidence or not? Give a second thought. Ask yourself that question. Can you see it in reality or not? Do you see it? You don't see it? Do you want me to explain? Do you see the reality happening around you or not? Let me tell you again. When Syria was really, really being bombarded by America, what do you think was going on? They were only some of the Arabs were only busy taking refugees, asylum seekers. That's all. They never dare tell America, stop what you are doing. I'm serious. Saudi, who? Mention it. What are they doing? What? Now it's happened to Palestine again. Who is talking? Saudi Arabia is busy organizing entertainments, even boxing matches. I'm serious. God is telling you in the Quran, they try to change the words of God. But remember, I keep telling you, Quran chapter 10, verse 82, وَيُحِقُّ اللَّهُ الْحَقَّ بِكَلِمَاتِهِ وَلَوْ كَرَهَ الْمُجْرِمُونَ. God will enforce the truth with his words, even if the criminals dislike it. When God mentioned Al-Arab, most of the mainstream will try to change, especially the dumbest scholars from Africa who are in favor of what these mainstream mushriks are trying to do to the Quran. They will twist it and say, no, it's not talking about the Arabs. Do you think God is fooling us? Or do you think he doesn't know the prophet was an Arab? But he wasn't classified the prophet as part of this hypocrisy. Because read the verses below. He gave you different categorizations of Arabs. Not all Arabs are hypocrites, but when it comes to disbelief and hypocrisy, Arabs are number one. Why? The verse is clear. God says the Arabs are worse in disbelief and hypocrisy. So if you know how to be a disbeliever, an Arabian is worse than you when it comes to disbelief. I'm serious. When you see the Arabian countries, it doesn't necessarily mean they are Islamic countries. Pay attention. They are Arabian countries. It doesn't mean they are Islamic countries. Don't let that Islam aspect fool you. There's nothing Islamic about those countries. I'm not kidding with you. I'm serious. They just happen to be Arabs. Don't you know there are Arab Christians as well? Or there are Arabs who worship idols, who are pagans? Didn't you read the Quran to see how the pagans were fighting with Prophet Muhammad? Go to Quran chapter 39, verse 64. Prophet Muhammad called his people ignorant people for worshiping idols. Quran chapter 8, verse 35. You forgot they were the ones clapping and singing in the Masjid al-Haram before worshiping idols. Arabs are good at being disbelieving. They are good at hypocrisy. God was not saying this to insult Arabs, but he was just giving a classification so that you know. Look, God describes everybody's by his character and identity so that we know you. You can't hide that. So even though he spoke here about Arabs being the worst in disbelief and hypocrisy, he went further. Verse 98. And among the Arabs, now you see God is going to give classification. But in the first instance, he generalized the word. It doesn't mean all of them, but the majority of them. I'm serious. Look at when Gaddafi was attacked. Tell me one Arab nation who came out to say, hey, stop attacking Gaddafi. When Saddam Hussein was attacked, tell me one Arab nation who came to fight against. Because the corruption has taken effect over the faith. It's no more about Islam. It's no more about God. But they forgot that the oppositions, they are fighting you. They're not fighting you because you're an Arab. They are fighting you because you are a Muslim. That's why they are fighting you. Israel is not fighting Palestine because they are Arabs. No, they're fighting you because you are Muslims. Let Palestine right now say, we want to become Jews. They will accept them. They will say, oh, come. MashaAllah, come. Shalom, shalom, shalom. They will hug them. I'm serious. Let the Muslims in India right now, in India right now, let them tell the Hindus that, oh, we want to join Hinduism. The Hindus will hug them, say, oh, come, come, come. They will say, chalo, chalo, chalo. You know what chalo means? Come, come. Yes, let's go. Now, so when you read Quran chapter 9, verse 98, and among the Arabs are those who take what they disburse as liability, and they wait for you mishaps. Upon them is the mishap of evil. And God is hearing on common sense. Then again, 99. And among the Arabs are those who believe in God and the last day, and they take what they disburse as nearness to God and litanies of the messenger. Verily, indeed, it is a pious act. For them, God will admit them into his mercy. Indeed, God is forgiving and merciful. Now, when people don't understand this, they think God was just condemning Arabs in general. Read the context. Quran chapter 9, verse 97. It has a context up to 99. It is just telling you, when it comes to generalization, the Arabs are worse when they want to be in the acts of disbelief. They want to act in the acts of hypocrisy. Arabs are number one. But when it comes to categorizations, it doesn't mean all Arabs are hypocrites. It doesn't mean all Arabs are disbelievers. So understand this point. We have Arabs who have the act of belief and worshiping God and serving God. Then we have Arabs, they will show you their caliber. So that is what it means. It doesn't mean all Arabs are bad. You understand me? Prophet Muhammad himself was an Arab, peace be upon him. So he wasn't a bad person. Do you get my point? But the stories they write, the enemies of Islam, especially the hadith used, the stories they write about that prophet in the hadith books is trying to tarnish his image. They are the enemies of the prophet. They tarnish his image by writing certain bad things about him. That he went to fight people, kill people, do this, marry 6 years old girl, sleep with 11 women in one night, and so on. Those are the enemies. Beware of them. Right? Okay. Let's go. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, now when I take you to Quran chapter 9 verse 71, this is the advice God is giving to the believers, right? Quran chapter 9 verse 71. Check the advice God is giving to believers. He says what? And the believing men and the believing women are allies of each other. If you are a believing woman and I'm a believing man, we have to become an ally, right? We have to become allies of each other. I have to be your keeper. I have to be there for you. So if in actual sense, you are a believer, and I know you are not an idol worshiper, you are a believer, I'm your ally. I have to support you in every means because we have one party towards God. Remember, there can be only two groups in this world. It's either you are with Hizbullah or Hizbul Shaitan. You can never be in any other middle group. There's no middle group. It's either you are Hizbullah or Hizbul Shaitan. I'm serious. It's either you are Hizbullah or Hizbul Shaitan. You understand? And believers are in the party of God. And then Hizbul Shaitan, they are the ones who act based on corruption and other things. Do you understand? Okay. And the believing men and the believing women are allies of each other. They call for kindness and refrain from abomination. And they establish the litany and give the charity. And they obey God and his messenger. Those are the ones whom God will have mercy upon them. Indeed, God is almighty and wise. Okay. Now, let me go to this part. Now, remember when we spoke about the issue of indoctrination. For instance, the Hindu religion is mainly based on indoctrination. And I'll tell you why. I'll explain. I'll play a video to show you why. Indoctrination is teaching someone to accept doctrines uncritically. Uncritically. It is the opposite of critical. So when you are indoctrinated, you can just accept something uncritically without thinking deeply about anything. You just accept it because you are told. And I'll give you the example as to why. So let's take this example. Let me play this video to show you something concerning indoctrination. Now check this video during the coronavirus issue, right? This is what happened during the coronavirus. You have some Hindus actually drinking cow pee, the urine of a cow, during the coronavirus. And they said the pee will serve as a cure for coronavirus. Now, this is all based on indoctrination. And I'll be quoting some verses from Hadith to show you how people were indoctrinated through the Hadith as well, to tell them to drink the camel urine. And they say the prophet said that's how foolish indoctrination can cause people to become. And I'm going to show you the video. Let's go.
सभी लोग यहाँ पे इकट्ठे हुए हैं और वो भी शांत करेंगे और गौ माता का हम प्रार्थना करते हैं। सब लोग गौ माता से आह्वान करते हैं, सब लोग अपना पकड़ लो, आह्वान करते हैं सबको निरोध उत्पन्न करो और सभी पूरे विश्व से वो करते हैं कि ये पूरे गौमूत्र का सेवन करें। जय गौ माता की।
During the corona, you saw the video for those on Facebook and YouTube. During the corona, these Hindus created a corona god. They created a new god called corona god. According to Hinduism faith, anything can become god, right? Anything can become a god. So they created a corona god and told the corona god that they are going to drink the cow pee, and then so that the cow pee will actually cure the corona. So it will take the corona away. And then they make another food to add the poop of the cow inside the food. I'm showing it on the video. I'm not just making stories up. If you watch my replay from those on TikTok, watch the replay, you see it. I'm not making anything up, right? If you drink the concoction they made, it's mixture of the pee and the poop of the cow all together. They say it will cure the distance. If you have corona. And then at that time, the World Health Organization, the doctors contacted them and say, hey, don't do that to it. This doesn't cure it. Stop it. But this is what indoctrination can lead you to. And these are the same people, they can become extremists when they want to attack you. So that is why when they were fighting with the Muslims in 2021 concerning the genocide, when they just, their leaders tell them, go and kill, they'll go and kill. I'm serious. They don't think twice. The logic doesn't work. If somebody can be told to drink the camel urine, somebody can be told to drink cow urine, somebody can be told to eat the cow poop or whatever, to bath with cow poop, beware of that person. I'm serious. So in this video, they created a god called Corona God, right? And they were giving the Corona God some drink. You see on the poster here. For those on TikTok, let me see if I can show you the screen here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, this is the poster. That's the Corona God. They wrote Corona on him. It's a god, Corona. If you watch the replay on YouTube, you see what I'm saying, right? The Corona, in Hinduism, you can create any god you want. Your baby, your child can become God. And especially the number one god is cow. So they like to worship the cow a lot. It is only in India, when a cow is coming, everything stops. You have to allow the cow to pass. You can see the smartest person. Look, in India, you can see the smartest person who knows about IT, right? Information technology, right? Smartest, but he's worshiping a cow. I'm serious. A smart ass man or woman, because of indoctrination, is worshiping a cow. Meh, moo, not meh, moo, that moo, They worship it. They say it's a god, a reincarnation of a god, right? So they poop, they can shower with it, pee, they can drink, and they use a lot of food. They add the poop. I'm serious. I'm not joking. It's a fact. I'm telling you. A lot of the food they made, they add the poop. Not the all Indians. I'm talking about the Hindus. They celebrate something they call Diwali. It's normally make it in October and November. Is it? Let me check. In October and November, they celebrate something called Diwali. It's a Hindu festival celebrating the end of monsoon. It says held in October and November. Celebration feature lights, lamps, and sometimes fireworks. And this is the celebration. When they are celebrating, they use cow poop. I think I have the video. Let me see. They use cow poop to even shower themselves, to wash themselves. Let me see. Do I have the video here?
India are there is no scientific evidence for it. Doctors in India are warning against the practice of using cow dung in the belief it will ward off COVID-19, saying there is no scientific evidence for its effectiveness and that it risks spreading other diseases. In the state of Gujarat, some believers have been going to cow shelters once a week to cover their bodies in cow dung and urine in the hope it will boost their immunity against or help them recover from the coronavirus. As participants wait for the dung and urine mixture on their bodies to dry, they hug or honor the cows at the shelter and practice yoga to boost energy levels. The packs are then washed off with milk or buttermilk.
Did you hear that? So they use the cow poop, the dung, to actually rub on their body. They believe it's a cure, it will do a lot of things, you understand? And then after that, indoctrination is never an easy thing. It's a big disease. So if these people, their leaders tell them, go and kill the Muslim, they will do it. You understand? Now, I'm going to quote a particular hadith for you, right? At a particular hadith, let me share the screen. For those who, the hadith you use, if you are watching also, I'm coming to you. For the hadith you use, they have this particular hadith where this is the hadith. Narrated by Anas. It's Sahih al-Bukhari 5686. Sahih al-Bukhari 5686. The climate of Medina did not suit some people, so the Prophet ordered them to follow his shepherd, that is his camels, and drink their milk and urine. So they followed the shepherd, that is the camels, and drank their milk and urine till their bodies became healthy. Sahih al-Bukhari 5686. So when you see most of the Arabs also doing that, drinking camel urine, look, if I show you the Hindus and they are drinking cow pee, and then you are laughing and you are a hadith follower, don't laugh if you are a hadith follower. I'm serious, because you are fooling yourself. Because your hadith books is also telling you to go and drink the camel pee. So in Ghana language, we will say yedinaya bru pepepe, yedinaya bru pepepe. We are all drinking this. Hey, indoctrination. So in the Arabian desert, you see an Arab busily drinking the camel urine. I think I don't know if I have the video. You look, I'm serious. This man-made religions, Hey, it's not easy. Why is somebody will lie? You see, just like the mainstream Muslims, they are telling the Christians that you are worshiping Jesus. I'm serious. Wallahi, God bear me witness. The mainstream Muslims, which are the Muslims, they also worship Prophet Muhammad. I'm serious. They will tell you Muhammad is the first and last. Just like Christians tell you Jesus is the first and last. Same thing. Hadith followers will tell you Muhammad is the first and last. Just like the Christians are telling you Jesus is the only way to God, he's the light of God. The mainstream mushriks also will tell you the same thing. They say Muhammad is the light of God, he is the first and last. You can only go to God through Muhammad. Oh my God. So they deal with the entity and live with the message the entity has brought. So Quran chapter 18 verse 110. What did the messenger say? Kul innama ana basharu mithlukum yuha ilayya annama ilahukum ilahun wahid. Faman kana yarju lika rabbi falyamal amala salihan wala yushriku bi ibadatihi rabbi ahada. I'm just a man like you, to whom has been inspired to me that your God is one God. So whoever is expecting to meet his Lord, let him act righteous and should not associate anyone in the worship of his Lord. But what do you see the mushriks doing? Muhammad, he is the mercy of mankind. Oh, Muhammad, my beloved. And then they will say Muhammad said they should drink camel urine. And then you are sitting there laughing at a Hindu because he's drinking cow urine. You think you are wise. They
think they are sensible and they keep on making mistakes.
Okay. So that is the saddest part. So in Hinduism, the cow is considered a sacred animal and symbolizes wealth. Right? In Hinduism, the cow, it symbolizes wealth, strength, and motherly love. It is believed to be the earthly representative of the divine and nourishing mother goddess, who represent fertility and bountifulness. Now remember, Quran chapter 17 verse 2. وآتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلنا هدى لبني إسرائيل ألا تتخذوا من دوني وكيلا. God doesn't like you to take any representative besides him. What are the Hindus telling you? They said this cow they are worshipping is what? It is believed to be the earthly representative of the divine and nourishing mother goddess. So to them, there's a female god. Remember, God does not have a gender. It's not a man or a woman. Their milk is believed to have a purifying effect on human bodies. That's what they believe. So this is indoctrination. The moment people can only be explaining things based on faith, belief, they cannot prove anything. That's that. Just like the 3-in-1 people, shampoo. So now, somebody asked that, what is the solution to the issue going on, for instance, in Palestine? What are we supposed to do? If you are in support of the oppressor, then you are guilty. You shouldn't support the oppressor. You have to support the oppressed, regardless of them being whether a Christian, whether whoever the person is. So far as he is being oppressed, you have to be in this. If you have any means of support, you have to support to stop the oppressor from oppressing, because tomorrow it could be you. So in Palestine, what is going on? Of course, God is aware, but what is going on? Let me tell you. In order to get Palestine to have peace again, is to boycott all the businesses the oppressor is having, or anything they own. Boycott it. Don't support them, because the more you support them, they become bigger. You understand? They are getting more bigger, and they will keep doing it, because your leaders are never going to speak in your favor, because your leaders are hypocrites. They are part of the corruption. They are disbelievers, and they are allies to the enemy. Do you get my point? A believer should be the ally of a believer. A believer should not become an ally of a disbeliever. That's the difference. It doesn't mean just because you are a disbeliever and you are next to me that means I hate you. No. But we don't need to become allies. Do you get my point? So when people don't understand this, they will think. So let me read these verses so that you understand why certain things God does not intervene at once. It is based on how the people act also. So Quran chapter 4 verse 97, and I'm going to read up to verse 99. You got to understand something. So when I share the screen, let's see the screen here. It says, indeed, those the angels will cause their death in wronging their souls. They, the angels, will say, in what were you? Which means what is happening with you? What were you doing? In what were you? They, the wrongdoers, will say, we were oppressed in the land. Why are these people classified as wrongdoers? Were they doing what God asked them to do? Were they actually real believers? Were they doing what God asked them to do? That's the question. So God will say, and the angels will tell them, in what were you? They, the wrongdoers, will say, we were oppressed in the land. They, the angels, will say, was the earth of God not spacious to immigrate therein? Because if you are being oppressed here, why don't you move and go to some place? I'm from Ghana, right? I'm based in Europe now. I came to Europe to find greener pastures. If the grass was green at my place, what am I doing here? Do you get my point? So similarly, if you are in a tight situation and you have the means to move out, move out. Evacuate. For safety first, right? You are seeking for help, the help is not coming. Find a safety nest to go. But what if you cannot escape? Let's see the solution. Then the angels will say, was the earth of God not spacious to emigrate therein? That's a question. The angels will ask. Those are the ones whose refuge is hell. Such an evil destiny. You can see the person is a wrongdoer and he was oppressed at the same time. But the angels will tell him, you have failed. Because your life is based on serving God, number one. You have to be truthful to God. Then he can help you, just like he helped Prophet Lot. When Lot was in trouble, his people were actually oppressing him. He called for help from God, and God sent him the angels in the form of human beings. They came to help him. That is what we call today Sodom and Gomorrah. You understand? You have to be faithful to God, be sincere to God. That is the number one aspect of your faith. Quran chapter 98, verse 5. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ هُنَفَاءَ. Before the issue of your salat and zakat comes in, make sure you are sincerely devoted to God, truthfully, in the deen, in your faith. If that aspect of your faith is kaput, remember everything else is useless. So you have to sincerely devote yourself to God and see if God will not listen to you. If you need help today, God will bring the help. I'm serious. Verse 98. Except the oppressed among men, women, and children who are not able to dodge, nor are they guided to a way. So that is an exception. So what is happening in Palestine? There's an exception from God, except the oppressed ones among men, women, and children who are not able to dodge. Like they cannot go anywhere. They are stranded. They don't know whether they should go left or they should go right. They don't have any means to survive. You understand? Then it says, nor are they guided to a way. Are they being guided to a way to escape? They could have escaped, but there's nowhere to go. So these are the people who need help. So the world leaders who have enough power to help out are the ones supposed to reach out, but they can only reach out when we, the citizens or civilians, actually enforce, put pressure on the leaders to make a decision. Because what is the G20, G14, G summit for? What is it for? Are they there to only discuss about football? What are they discussing about? You understand? Are they just going there to talk about movies or what? Yeah, thank you very much. C. Thank you. God bless you for the gift also. You understand? So it goes up to verse 99. Then those God will perhaps pardon them. For God is pardoning and forgiving. So whatever is happening in Palestine, people being killed, people are dying, it is for God to decide who is safe and who he is going to pardon. Right? For you and I, if we have the power, we can stop what is going on. But the question is, do we have the power? Unless if we are united, we can only be united when we are believers, because then we become allies. So it says we are not believers, just like the Sunni Shia fight, just like the Ahmadiyya, this thing. Even for example, let me give an example. In Pakistan, they have Sunni Muslims and they have Ahmadi Muslims. They don't classify the Ahmadis as Muslims. I'm serious. So the Ahmadis are even hiding themselves. Just like today in India, some Muslims are hiding themselves. In 2021, Muslims were scared to even go to the mosque to pray because the Hindus have already declared themselves to kill them. In 2021, look it up, the genocide. Do you understand? So it gets to a point, unity is the key. If you read chapter 61, you got to understand how unity helps a lot in one column. When you are united in the front and you are believers, I'm serious, no enemy can fight you. Seriously. I decided to tackle this issue, the Hindus and the Muslim issue. I wanted to go to the core to show you the confusion, what actually started it. And I showed you all the evidences, why it started. So don't just go out of ignorance to take sides. You have to understand what is going on first before you take a side. If you are taking a side, be honest, be just. Don't just take a side because because you think, oh, they are Muslims, I just support them because they are Muslims. No. Support those who are truthful. It's not about somebody's a Muslim, so you just support blindly. No. A Muslim can be an evildoer as well. Yeah, because being a Muslim is between him and God, but he can act evil towards another brother. Are you telling me just because you are a believer, so you don't sin or you don't commit mistakes, you don't offend people? You understand? You can commit crimes as well, even you being a Muslim. So just because a Muslim has done something is happening wrong, don't blindly say, oh, because he's a Muslim, we support Muslims. No. So sometimes, if you look at it from another angle, maybe, is it why some Arabs are not helping each other? If you ask the Egyptians, why is your country not helping Palestine? Have you tried that? Some of them don't have the right answers to give you. They don't know because their politicians are not telling them there's something. Somebody must tell us something. They don't tell us anything. Can you imagine Palestine is busily dying and Saudi Arabia organizing a boxing match between Francis this and Tyson Fury? And then somebody went to watch the boxing match holding Palestine flag. He was arrested. Yeah, it tells you something is wrong. People don't want to tell us this and information. But let's check. If you go to Quran chapter 5 verse 8, O you who believe, be upright for God as witnesses in justice, and do not wrong yourselves by hating a people in order not to act justly. Act justly, it is nearer to piousness, and beware of God. Indeed, God is conversant with what you do. Now, say then you go to Quran chapter 4, verse 135. Now, simultaneously, this is a bit similar with the verse. So in Quran chapter 4, verse 135, it says, O you who believe, be upright in justice as witnesses for God, even if it is against yourselves or parents and relatives, whether he is rich or needy, for God is more deserving to both of them. Right? So do not follow inclination lest you counter-react. And if you distort or turn away, then indeed God is conversant with what you do. Do you get my point? So if anything is happening, whether it's a war between Israel, Palestine, whether it's a fight between Ukraine, Russia, whether it's Hindus between Muslims, whether it's anywhere going on, investigate first. Please don't just go and take sides blindly just because you think, oh, it's a Muslim and Christian fight, or it's a Muslim and Hindu fight, or it's a Israel, Jews and Muslim fight. Please don't investigate. Investigate before you don't go and take sides. Because you'll be acting ignorant just because you think, oh, this is Muslim, so I'm supporting Muslims. So then you ask yourself, if Palestinians are being killed, why are the Arabs, I'm not saying all Arabs, but why are the Arabs silent? Something is wrong, right? Because if it is a World Cup, imagine Palestine playing the World Cup. All the Arab nation will be supporting. I'm serious. Mark my words. They will say, yeah, Palestine, I love you, Palestine, I'm supporting you. Yeah, that's the point. So think about it deeply. This is not to look down upon any race or to talk and say I'm looking down on Indians, or I have Indian friends. I know people from India as well. But I told you, correctional officer is here to speak the truth. I'm telling you the truth as it is. Yeah, you are ugly, I have to tell you you are ugly. If you are handsome, yes, you deserve a praise. You're stupid, likewise, you have to be told. You are wise, you have to be given a thumbs up. It's a reality of the world. You just have to swallow the pill and walk forward. Nothing to be worried about. You know you are a pagan, accept it. You are a mushrik, yeah, accept it. Simple. What is the trying to explain? We go explain, tire. There's no evidence. What are you going to say? If you are guilty, accept it. Simple. But remember, the media is doing its best to play with our conscience. They will give you false information most of the time. So try to investigate whenever information comes to you. Don't just accept it just because they told you somebody is killing a Muslim. So you just accept. So, oh, they are killing Muslims. Let's go and support. No, investigate. Please. Investigate. Because you'll be acting ignorant for supporting the wrong side without knowing. Right? Yeah. If you see a mother beating her child, and the father is sitting down quietly watching, and you are an outsider, before you go to intervene, ask the father, why is he sitting down? Sometimes there's a reason. Try to investigate before you initiate to disengage people. You might be shocked. When you're told the reasons, you back off. I'm serious. Life will teach you a lot of lessons you might never try to understand. If you try to understand, then you get to understand how the world works, why some people keep quiet on certain things. Yeah. When you look at it from the face value, you might think somebody is being unjust or committing an injustice. But when you look at it deeply, take a second look. You know, when the water is calm, sometimes you look in the water, you can see yourself. But when it is boiling, you can never see yourself when you look through it, when it's boiling. So that is why God wants us to investigate. Whenever a news comes to us, investigate. There is a reason. You can be given a false information, because remember, social media is where we got all our news. News histories and stories can be tampered with. And that is why there's a reference point where somebody is speaking, you can go and find it out or check it up or look it up. Yeah. Strong and trustworthy says, Inshallah, you didn't take the vax. No, I didn't. I didn't. What is the reason for me to do that? No. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the program for today titled Hindus Against Muslims. If you have, don't just follow the topic and don't just follow the title itself entirely, because I wasn't here to insult Hindus, but I'm just showing the proof and the reality to what is just the truth, right? So they have the right to believe in whatever they want to believe. But if they are against Muslims just because we say God is one and we want to practice Islam and they hate us, then there's a problem. Then we have to defend ourselves if we can. If we cannot, we call the Almighty to intervene. As simple as that, right? Yes. What Palestine is facing now is not about prayer. No. It's not about prayer. God is not sleeping. He's seeing what is going on. You're telling me we have to pray to God, so God will do what? Wake up from sleep and say, oh, hey, what did you say? They are killing Palestine. Okay, let me go and help out. No, God is not sleeping. There's a reason. Yeah. So think twice. Before you take sides, let peace reign. We all need peace. But when there's a war, investigate. You might be surprised when you get to find out who is at fault and who is not. You know, so sometimes let's look into it deeper. Sometimes I'm not supporting of the Jews against what they are doing to the innocent people. No, I'm not. I repeat, I'm not in support of what Israel is doing against Palestine. No. But then you ask yourself, why is the help not coming? People are only interested that, let's give them food. Let's give them shelter. Let's give them this to eat. Nobody is thinking, let's tell the leaders to stop the war. Why? And then you're telling us, let's pray to God. To do what? No, it is not time for God to intervene yet. There's something that needs to be done. I just spoke about the Arabs. I spoke about the Jews. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I bring the topic on Facebook and YouTube to an end. Today, I was speaking about the Hindus and the Muslims. And I spoke about Jews and I spoke about the Arabs, right? That is the topic for today. Let's bring it to an end. I'll be staying on TikTok for a bit before I go. But usually I know... Theo Wright says they are against Sunnis, not against Muslims. No, this is what I explained earlier. No Hindu or no Jew will tell you they are against Sunnis. They will not use the word Sunnis. Listen. They are against, to them, they are against Islam because that is what they think Islam is. So they are against Muslims. I'm serious. When they say Islamic terrorists, do you hear them just say Sunni terrorists? When the Hezbollah or Hamas, the fighting was going on, Hamas are considered Sunnis. But when they are writing in the news, the media, who owns the media, by the way? Is it not the Jews? When they are writing, what do they tell you? They say the Islamic terrorists, the Islamist extremists. That's what they write to you, right? So initially, they are against Muslims. It's not about, look, the truth. If you are the truth teller and you are the truthful one, people will hate you. That is why Quran chapter 43, verse 78. لَقَدْ جِئْنَاكُمْ بِالْحَقِّ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَكُمْ لِلْحَقِّ لَكَارِهُونَ. We have brought you the truth, but most of you hate the truth. You understand? So to them, when they say Islam, they're talking about the mainstream Islam, the Muslims, because the hadiths, this is what they depict to the people to think this is Islam. Right? You and I, we know that is the Sunnis, yes. But they don't know the difference. They think, so far as you are a Muslim, it's Islam. They say you are a terrorist, Islamic terrorist, or whatever. That's how they categorize you. Not until we meet them and classify to them and show them the difference that, hey, look, the Muslim, there's a different type. That Muslim you are saying that the social media or TV, they are the version of the hadith books. You understand? So that is how it works. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm dropping the topic on TikTok, on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm moving on to TikTok. So I'll give people a chance to interact with me. If you're on TikTok, kindly join. I'm using the same name, Bush2G9. Join me on TikTok. I might be there 1 hour or 2 hours. I think I'm getting a bit tired, but I can stay for a bit. Join me. If you don't know how to use TikTok, kindly get your TikTok. If you come to my page, look for the red sign. When I'm online, you see on my profile picture something, the red circle. Press on my profile picture, it will take you straight to my live stream, right? So if you have never used TikTok before, kindly find me with the same name, Bush2G9, and address directly. Thank you all for those who send me the gifts as well. God bless you all. I appreciate the support. Kamke, Kamal, I see you. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you too. Baba Sidunaganka, thank you. God bless you. Fatima Chin, Balogun. Oscar Young says, so Baba, how about Kemet? I see some people are saying they are Kemet. What is Kemet? The Kemet is another religious group from Egypt, right? Normally you find them in Egypt, right? Another type of group. They are made of black people, black Africans, right? In Egypt. That's where it evolves. So Kemet, that's another group like that. Yeah. So you can read more about it online. Yeah, it's there. So thank you all for this on Facebook and YouTube. It's 2 hours is enough where I'm bringing the topic on. And like I said, join me on TikTok so we can continue with the one-on-one dialogues. I appreciate your support. Till we meet again next week. If anybody has a question that I have not answered, kindly inbox me on my WhatsApp or Facebook, and I'll get back to you, inshallah. Thank you all for your time. Till we meet again. Peace out.
Babashuaib, the correctional officer,